Hello everyone. So in today's video, we are going to do chapter Matter in Our Surroundings, chapter 1 Science. We are going to discuss all the questions that is there in your NCERT book. Also, after this video, we are going to discuss all the important questions that is there in this particular chapter. So stay tuned with us and come on, let's start, right? Without wasting much time, let's begin. So, see, doing the questions is very important, but it only makes sense when you have complete knowledge of the chapter, right? So, if you haven't seen the videos of this chapter, we have the video on our channel. So, like you can go and check out the videos as well. Also, the key concepts of the particular chapter should be perfectly clear, then only you'll be able to answer all the questions. Okay, so we are going to use the same concepts that we have studied in the in this chapter or from this chapter. So the questions are not from a different topic or not from a different concept. The questions are from the same concept, but let's just decode it. Okay, let's begin. So, which of the following are matters? See, we have given few things over here, and we have to find out what are the matters in this case. What are the things that is a matter? See, obviously, you know the key concept that anything that anything that occupies state, right, and have volume is a matter, right, and have volume is matter. So, let's just now, this was the concept that is required, the basic knowledge of matter, right? See, a chair occupies space or since okay, let me just make change it over here. It's not state, it's space. Yeah. So chair occupies space. So that's a matter. Air, obviously, right? Because we have studied that the form of matter, it's a form of matter, right? Now, love is a feeling. It can take place in your mind, not even in your heart, because the heart's work is just to pump the blood, right? So it can take place in your mind, in your brain, but not actually. So this is not what a matter is. Okay, smell obviously because that travels through air, right? And air is a mode of like it's a type of matter, right? So we have the smell. Again, hate is a feeling. It can be there within you, but it doesn't take space actually. So hate is not the answer. Almonds, obviously, it's a thing. It takes place. It takes space. Thoughts again can take space in your mind, in your brain, but not actually. So that's not a matter. Cold. See, it's a you can say again the word cold is actually not matter because again it's a kind of feeling, hot, cold, that's a kind of feeling, right? Sense, but not actually a matter, right? Again, now cold drink, that's a matter. Smell of perfume, again, that's a matter, right? Smell of anything is a matter. Now let's move on to the next question. So if you want to write the answer for this, so the answer for this will be chair, air, smell, almonds. Then we have cold drink, and smell of perfume. Okay, smell of perfume. So these are all the matters that we have. Now, let's move on to the next question. It says, the smell of hot sizzling food reaches you several meters away. But to get the smell of from cold food, you have to go close. See, it's very, very common thing, right? We almost all have observed this thing that if you are cooking something or something which is very just sizzling hot right now, the aroma of that food reaches you quickly, right? But if something you take out from the freezer, even if the same thing, if you have kept in the freezer, it's become totally cold. So even if you take out the same thing, that aroma will not reach you far away. Even you have to go close to get that smell, right? But why this thing happened, we need to give out the reason for it. So what do you think is going to be the reason for this one, right? Mm-hmm. Clearly, see, that is due to that is due to the travel of smell through air, travel of smell through air, right? You know that the particles of matter travels, right? It travels. And you know the hot sizzling food, there is a evaporation, there is a vapor that is coming out from that hot sizzling food, right? Which travels quickly, and that is why you get the smell of the hot food. But in case of a cold food, the vapors are not coming out, right? That is why the reason that it doesn't travel through the air so quickly, and hence you don't get the smell. So if you want to write the proper explanation, you can say that the smell of hot sizzling food gets to us due to evaporation. Evaporation, right? Because evaporation is directly proportional to temperature. And you know that evaporation is directly proportional to temperature. It will be higher temperature, then only directly it will be, if it will be higher, the temperature, then only the evaporation process can take place, right? And that is why it is directly proportional to temperature. you know that makes hot food hot food travels hot food travels with with air quickly, right? So this is what the reason is. Okay. Now let's move on to the next. A diver is able to cut through water in swimming pool. Which property of matter does this observations show? So you have seen, the people who are swimming, they can cut the water. That's how you can swim, by making space in the water like this. So, but what is the reason behind it? How are they able to do this thing? So, for that, you need to give the reason. Clearly, the phenomena of cutting water by the diver shows that matter has space between them. That's why only we are able to make the space between it, right? So the property that it shows is particles of matter. Particles of matter has space space between them, right? Okay, now next question, easy, a very direct question. See, question two, the give reason questions. These are very important questions. So never ever miss these give reason questions where your concept knowledge is strict. Okay, the direct questions like question four or question one, they are not actually asked. Okay, because they are just direct question, and if you have the knowledge, to solve the reasoning question, obviously you can and you will solve the direct questions, right? So now the next thing is, what are the characteristics of particles of matter? Exactly, again, this one, as I told you, it's a direct question. So if you know the characteristics of particles of matter, then only you'll be able to solve the questions like question number 3. because the phenomena or the characteristic, which characteristic of matter, you know, is present there. So that was the question. It was again not a direct question. So, okay, so you can write the characteristics that particles of matter have space between them. Particles of matter have space between them. Then we have particles of matter matters are continuously moving. That's your second characteristic. The next characteristic is the particles of matter has force of attraction between them. Particles of matter has force of attraction between them. And the last one, particles of matter are very small in size. Particles of matter are very small in size. So, the first three are the logical ones. Like, the first three are the important one. The last one is very normal. We all know that obviously they are very small. That's why we cannot see them in matters, right? You can't see the particles in this pen. You can't see the particles in, this tab or anything. They all are the matter, right? You can't see the particles. Obviously, that's why you can conclude that the particles of the matters are very small in size. But these three, we have done all these properties that particles of matter have space between them, like this. Let's say the solids have very less space, but when it comes to liquid, they have much more space than solid. And if you compare it with the gas, they have most space between them, right? So like this, but they do have, see, less, more, and most, that depends, but they do have space between them, right? Next is particles of matter continuously moving. They all are moving at one place like this, to and fro motion. So they are like moving round and round and round and round. Next is they have force of attraction. See, the solids have the most or maximum amount of force of attraction. That is why they are, like close to each other so much, while it is a bit less in liquid and least in the gas. Okay. While I was doing it, a heart was formed. Okay, let's move on to the next question, that the mass per unit volume of a substance is called density. So here the density is explained. So we have done this thing in the chapter as well while we were doing the chapter. Arrange the following in order of increasing density. That means you have to like you have to arrange them in such an order that you put the object that has the most density in the last one. Now, what is density? The density is the mass per unit volume of a substance, right? Okay, let's see what we can do that. So, solids generally have, you can say that gas have least amount of density, then it comes to liquid, and then it comes to solid. They have the most amount of density. Okay, let me explain you how this works. Okay, so you know that the mass per unit volume, we can solve the question by keeping the concept in mind that the correct order of density of solid, liquid, and gases, right? So the gas is the least dense thing, then we have liquids, and then we have solids. Okay, so whatever things that are gases, for example, air, exhaust, and Then we have exhaust from chimneys. You can see over here, air exhaust from chimneys, right? You can see air exhaust from chimneys. These are the less dense. Then we have water, and then we have honey, and then we have chalk, cotton, and iron. What's the process is. Let me write it for you. So you can say that gas and liquid and solid. So you can write it like this. Gas is you can say air and exhaust from chimney. Then we have liquids, and liquids have seeds. Again, liquid is more in liquid. Water is more fluid, right? More liquidy. So water will have less density than compared to the honey. So then you will write honey. Then we have solids, and solids like cotton is very soft, so it like very light and all. So it's not like a solid. So cotton will have the least density if you talk about in solids. So then we have chalk, and then we have iron, right? So you can arrange it in this way. Getting it? Let's move on to the next. Yeah, so the next question we have, tabulate the difference in the characteristics of states of matter. See, it's very, very easy, and but yet very important, because this is one of the direct type of questions that is for sure asked. Okay, and generally it is asked in 3 marks. 3 marks question you will get for this one. Okay, let's see. So we have solid, then we have, oh, why the line is not straight? Let me manage it. Yeah, so then we have liquids, and then we have gases, right? Let's write all the properties. Okay, let's start from the first thing. So solids have definite shape and volume. So you can do one thing, either you can write it like this, or there is one more way to do it. How you can do it, let me show you again. Let me erase this. There is one way you can like write like this as well, but there is one more way you can do it, and that will be even better. So let me show you. Here you can write the basis of comparison, right? You can write the basis of comparison, basis of comparison. So the first thing you can say that shape. Shape is your basis of comparison. So let's compare all three. So solids have definite or fixed shape, right? Fixed shape. While liquids have, they do not have any fixed shape. So non-definite, non-definite, or you can say that takes the shape of container, takes the shape of container. Then we have gases. Gases, on the other hand, they do not have again non-definite shape, definite shape, right? Now, the second thing you can say is on the basis of volume. Okay, so you can take volume. Now, volume, solids have fixed volume, liquids also have fixed volume, but gases do not have fixed volume. So they do not have fixed volume, right? Fixed volume. Next thing that you can say, see, if it is a 3 marker question, like 5 points are more than enough. That's really more than enough. So you don't need to write more than 5 points. We are here trying to write, the five or 6 points. Okay, there are many, because you have already studied in the chapter. The next is For okay, part attraction between particles. Okay, attraction between particles. So you can say that solids have the highest attraction, while liquids have, you can say, attraction, moderate attraction, while gases have lesser or least force of attraction. Okay, least attraction. Next thing you can say that you can work on the characteristics, right? So you can, the next thing that you can say is space between particles, space between particles. So you can say that solids have, you can say that solid has the highest space, or you can say the largest space, while the liquids have moderate space and the gases have least space, right? Least space. So these are the 4 points. You can write one more point as you can say, yeah, you can talk on the sizes of the particles as well, that the solid particles are generally of this size. But for that, you have to remember all the sizes properly. Then only you can write. But if you don't want to go with that, you can, like in last, you can give example as well. So you can say that examples. In solids, you can give examples as ice or chalk, whatever solid is. The liquids, we have water, milk, gases, then we have, you can say, oxygen, or smell of perfume, right? These all are your example for this question. Big question, but important so much. It's so much important. Please, 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 just read the characteristics of all the three states of matter very carefully. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. So comment upon the following: rigidity, compressibility, fluidity, filling a gas container, shape, kinetic energy, and density. So basically, you have to, describe a bit about them. So let's start describing one by one. So let's first take rigidity. Rigidity. See, rigidity is something, that solids have in them. That means they are fixed. You cannot change their object. So property by which an object retains its shape. You can say a property by which object object retains its shape, retains its shape. For example, you can say that solids are rigid. Solids are rigid. Then we have compressibility. Compressibility. Okay. Again, the compressibility is a property due to which a substance can, you can say, due to which a substance can be compressed, right? Means a volume can be decreased. So you can say it's a property by which substance can be compressed. Compressed means you can make the volumes less. Volume can be decreased. Compressing helps you to decrease the volume. So volume can be decreased, right? So compressibility is highest in, you can say that it's highest in uh, gas. Okay, gases have the highest compressibility. Compressibility. Okay. Then we have, the next we have is fluidity. fluidity comes from the word fluid, and fluid has come from the word flow. Okay, so something that is flowing is what fluidity is. Okay, so you can say that flowing tendency of a substance is called fluidity. Flowing tendency of a substance is called fluidity. Fluidity. Now, you can say that the liquids are most fluid. Example, liquids are most fluid. Okay. The next thing that we have is uh, filling a gas container, right? Filling a gas container, right? So we have, see, a large volume of gas can be filled in a small size of container due to the compressibility of gas. So a large amount of gas can be filled in a cylinder due to compressibility of gas. Compressibility of gas. Okay. Then we have the three last, that is the shape, the property of having a definite geometrical, geometry is called shape, nothing that much. So you can say shape is the property of an object having definite geometry is shape. Now, the word geometry is the measurement. Okay, it refers to the measurement. So, the property of an object that has a definite measurement, then only it's possible that it will have this definite shape. So, that is what the shape is. Then we have kinetic energy. See, the energy, the moving energy, generally you call it as the kinetic energy. So, you can say that the energy possessed by the moving object, the energy possessed, we will study about this kinetic energy in our upcoming chapter in much detail. So don't worry about it. So the energy possessed by the moving object is kinetic energy. Kinetic energy. And the last one that we have is density. Density is the density is already given there in your question. You can say density, the mass per unit volume, the mass per unit volume is your density, right? So we have completed a question till this one, right? Which one? Question 6, right? We have done till this question. Uh, a lot of work we did, right? No worries. We will continue doing these questions of NCERT in, I guess, the next video. And I guess after that video, we will have one more, the important question videos. Okay, I don't want to make a very long video, so that's why I'll have to make this in 2 parts. Okay, so please continue watching. And if you want to do the more questions, you can see the next video after this. And if you haven't watched the explanation video of this chapter, please go and see the videos. I hope you like it. If you do, please like, share, and subscribe. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.